Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Byron coming to you with day 10 of our Read Daily Personal Development Challenge. And I'm so excited to bring this information to you, and I hope that you're getting as much of it as out of it as I am. This book, The New Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, is an amazing book, and if you ask anybody in any business, they'll tell you this is probably top 5 books you need to read for personal development and getting to the next goals in your business. So let's just hop right into it. We're on page 30 of chapter 2, how to awaken the automatic success mechanism within you. And we'll start in the new subheading. Understanding the 2 general types of servo mechanisms. Servo mechanisms are divided into 2 general types. One, where the target, goal, or answer is known and the objective is to reach it or accomplish it. 2, where the target or answer is not known and the objective is to discover or locate it. The human brain and nervous system operate in both ways. An example of the first type is the self-guided torpedo or the interceptor missile. The target or goal is known, an enemy ship or plane. The objective is to reach it. Such machines must know the target they are shooting for. They must have some sort of propulsion system that propels them forward in the general direction of the target. They must be equipped with sense organs, radar, sonar, heat perceptors, etc., which bring information from the target. These sense organs keep the machine informed when it is on the correct course, positive feedback, and when it commits an error and gets off course, negative feedback. The machine does not react or respond to positive feedback. It is doing the correct thing already and just keeps on doing what it is doing. There must be a corrective device, however, that responds to negative feedback. When negative feedback informs the mechanism that it is off the beam, for example, too far to the right, the corrective mechanism automatically causes the rudder to move so that it will steer the machine back to the left. If it overcorrects and heads too far to the left, this mistake is made known through the negative feedback, and the corrective device moves the rudder so it steers the machine back to the right. The torpedo accomplishes its goal by going forward, making errors, and continually correcting them. By a series of zigzags, it literally gropes its way to the goal. Dr. Norbert Wiener, who pioneered the development of goal-seeking mechanisms in World War II, believes that something very similar to the foregoing happens in the human nervous system whenever you perform any purposeful activity, even in such a simple goal-seeking situation as picking up a pencil from a table. We are able to accomplish the goal of picking up the pencil because of an automatic mechanism, not by will or conscious thinking alone. All that the conscious thought does is to select the goal, trigger it into action by desire, and feed information to the automatic mechanism so that your hand continually corrects its course. In the first place, said Dr. Wiener, only an anatomist would know all the muscles involved in picking up the pencil. And if you knew, you would not consciously say to yourself, I must contract my shoulder muscles to elevate my arm, now I must contract my triceps to extend my arm, etc. You just go ahead and pick up the pencil and are not conscious of issuing orders to individual muscles, nor of computing just how much contraction is needed. When you select the goal and trigger it into action, an automatic mechanism takes over. First of all, you have picked up a pencil and performed similar movements before. Your automatic mechanism has learned something of the correct response needed. Next, your automatic mechanism uses feedback data furnished to the brain by your eyes, which tell it the degree to which the pencil is not picked up. This feedback data enables the automatic mechanism to continually correct the motion of your hand until it is steered to the pencil. Picking up a pencil probably isn't very exciting, but it should be, because the little process just described that we use to pick up a pencil is performed any number of other routine, unchallenging tasks and exact the same process we can use to achieve much more complex and seemingly challenging goals. What's exciting is that you own the process and use it constantly. No new goal achieving capabilities are needed and none are lacking. In other words, if you can pick up a pencil, you can speak confidently and persuasively to large audiences, or write compelling advertising, or start a business, or play golf, or you name it. You already own the process. In a baby, just learning to use its muscles, the correction of the hand in reaching for a rattle is very obvious. The baby has little stored information to draw upon. Its hand zigzags back and forth and gropes obviously as it reaches. As learning takes place, correction becomes more and more refined. We see this in a person just learning to drive a car, who overcorrects and zigzags back and forth across the street. Once, however, a correct or successful response has been accomplished, it is remembered for future use. The automatic mechanism then duplicates the successful response on future trials. It has learned how to respond successfully. It remembers the successes, forgets its failures, and repeats the successful action as a habit. This is why the most adept, successful achievers in different fields appear to be succeeding so effortlessly. Top-performing sales professionals respond to prospects' objections or concerns without missing a beat. Say just the right thing at just the right time. Their responses have become habits, instinctive in a way. You already have reached this point with any number of things you do well. This fact that you have done so guarantees that you can do so again for any other purpose you choose. How your brain finds answers to problems. Let's return to our examination of the process. Now let us suppose that the room is dark so that you cannot see the pencil. You know or hope there is a pencil on the table, along with a variety of other objects. Instinctively, your hand begins to grope back and forth, performing zigzag motions or scanning, rejecting one object after another until the pencil is found and recognized. This is an example of the second type of servo mechanism. Recalling a name temporarily forgotten is another example. A scanner in your brain roams through your stored memories until the correct name is recognized. An electronic brain solves problems in much the same way. First, a great deal of data must be fed into the machine. This stored or recorded information is the machine's memory. A problem is posed to the machine. It scans back through its memory until it locates the only answer that it is consistent with and meets all the conditions of the problem. Problem and answer together constitute a whole situation or structure. When part of the situation or structure, the problem, is given to the machine, it locates the only missing parts, or the right size brick, so to speak, to complete the structure. You are familiar with this in search engines on the internet and search functions within computer software. The earliest versions of these in computers were relatively slow, awkward, and inefficient. Today's versions are lightning fast by comparison, but still very limited in scope and power if compared to the equivalent search engine included in your own mind. People who become very committed practitioners of Psycho-Cybernetics get very, very good at using their internal search engines. Many writers and speakers, for example, tell me of giving their subconscious instructions about their need for a good anecdote, story, joke, or forgotten details of a story for a writing task or speech, then taking a nap to awake with exactly the material they want on their minds. A look at the automatic mechanism in action. We marvel at the awesomeness of interceptor missiles that can compute in a flash the point of interception of another missile and be there at the correct instant to make contact. The smart bombs we witnessed during the Desert Storm conflict utilized technology of this kind. Today's technology is far superior to what guided torpedoes in World War II submarines, and it is arguably possible for the so-called Star Wars defense system advocated by President Reagan to eventually become reality. Yet, are we not witnessing something just as amazing each time we see a center fielder catch a fly ball? To compute where the ball will fall or where the point of interception will be, he must take into account the speed of the ball, its curvature of fall, its direction, windage, initial velocity, and the rate of progressive decrease in velocity. He must compute just how fast he must run and in what direction in order to arrive at the point of interception at the same time or before the ball does. The center fielder doesn't even think about this. His built-in goal-striving mechanism computes it for him from data that he feels is through his eyes and ears. The computer in his brain takes this information, compares it with stored data, memories of other successes and failures in catching fly balls. All necessary computations are made in a flash, and orders are issued to his leg muscles, and he just runs. Science can build the computer, but not the operator. Dr. Weiner said that at no time in the foreseeable future will scientists be able to construct an electronic brain anywhere near comparable to the human brain. I think that our gadget-conscious public has shown an unawareness of the special advantages and special disadvantages of electronic machinery as compared with the human brain, he says. The number of switching devices in the human brain vastly exceeds the number in any computing machine yet developed and even thought of for design in the near future. His prophecy remains true as of this writing. To be sure, many miraculous computer-type machines and gadgets have come into our hands since Dr. Weiner first tinkered with cybernetics. What once consumed rooms of space now fits in a hard drive that sits on your desktop. Still, nothing compares with your system of imagination, self-image, servo mechanism. But even should such a computer be built, it would lack a programmer. A computer cannot pose problems to itself. It has no imagination and cannot set goals for itself. It cannot determine which goals are worthwhile and which are not. It has no emotions. It cannot feel. It works only on new data fed to it by an operator. By feedback data it secures from its own sense organs and from information previously stored. That's where we'll finish up today. We finish up on page 35. We'll pick up there in the next reading. Wish you all the best. Talk to you soon.